Plainly put, this shooting was racially motivated, and he hated black people. He wanted to kill niggers.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching another episode of the Quisha King Show. So there is some very sad news today. Here in Jacksonville today, there were 3 people who were shot by a white man who was from a town right next door to Jacksonville, but he came into Jacksonville and killed these 3 individuals. And the reason why I mention race is because he explicitly said that he wanted to kill N-words. So he left behind a manifesto. He texted his father saying that he wanted his father to look at his computer, and that's what was on the computer. By the time his father saw the messages, the shooting had already begun. So he shot these 3 people at a Dollar General, and he explicitly wanted to kill black people, and there were swastikas on the gun. And so let's take a look at the sheriff explaining what happened here.
Tonight I stand side by side with our law enforcement partners, our mayor, city leaders, to share the heartbreaking news that Jacksonville has suffered the loss of 3 precious lives at the hands of an active shooter. This afternoon, a little after 1 p.m., an individual we have not yet officially identified entered a Dollar Tree in the Newtown area of Jacksonville, outfitted with a tactical vest, armed with an AR-style rifle, and a handgun. Then the shooter killed 3 people before turning the gun on himself, taking his own life. Other than the 3 individuals killed and the shooter himself, there are no additional people who suffered gunshot wounds. We are not identifying the deceased victims at this time, but I can tell you that there are 2 male victims and 1 female victim. All of the deceased victims are black. Multiple units from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office responded to this active shooter scene, as did members of Jacksonville Fire Rescue, our mayor, and city leaders. We are still in the very early stages of this investigation, so there's a lot of information that we don't know at this time. I will share with you the information that I have been able to verify. The shooter was believed to have resided in Clay County with his parents. He was involved in a 2016 domestic call in Clay County with no arrest. In 2017, he did have a Baker Act. We know that at 11:39 a.m. today, Sheriff Cook gave us information that he left Clay County, headed to Jacksonville. At 1:18 p.m., he texted his father and told his father to check his computer. At 1:53 p.m., the shooter's family members called the Clay County Sheriff's Office. By that time, he had already began shooting in Jacksonville. The Clay County Sheriff's Office, who has been assisting our agency with this investigation, received information after the shooting that the shooter had authored several manifestos, 1 to his parents, 1 to the media, and 1 to federal agents. Portions of these manifestos detailed the shooter's disgusting ideology of hate.
Here's the thing. First of all, my heart and my deepest prayers and condolences go out to the families of the victims, and my heart goes out to the family of the shooter, because typically, they said he was Baker acted in the past, and so it seems like he probably wasn't right. There was mental illness, and so when you have a loved one who is suffering from mental illness, obviously, few things that you can do if they're not taking their medication, if they don't want to get help. And so from what the sheriff said, the family didn't want guns in the home, probably because, I'm just assuming, but probably because of the state of the health of their child. You never know. I mean, maybe the parents were, racist themselves, who knows? Nevertheless, it's very sad. And so we have to pray for these people, pray for the victims and their families, of course, and pray for these people who hold that type of hate, people who hold any type of hate in their heart, that we pray for them and that they can be released of that bondage. It's really crazy because just the other day, we have students that were separated by skin color in Palm Coast, Flagler County. So I'll do a separate video on that, and you can see that video here. I'll put the link there. So we have that we had a few years back where there was kids here in Jacksonville, Duval County, who were separated by their skin color just a few years ago in school. And so I'm bringing this up because all of this focus on race, we are talking about race all the time. We're separating students by their skin color. We are saying that we want separate dorm rooms. There's white privilege, and then there's black people are oppressed, white people are the oppressors, and there's all this talk about race instead of people. I am not naive enough to think that people who have hate in their heart because of race or because of have hate in their heart, period, that there will be a time where none of that exists. But certainly the constant talking about it and the constant pitting the constant pitting us against each other because of race in society, you will get this. These people need to stop. Those of you, these DEI instructors, the critical race theorists, all of the people who are so freakishly, annoyingly, hatefully themselves focused on race, you perpetuate this into society. You are not helping. You are not helping anybody by constantly forcing, especially kids. The man was in his early 20s. So he's been around, he grew up in and around all of this stuff with this heavy focus on race all the time with these DEI instructors. We see, this young man grew up in a time where in high school, there's a heavy focus on race. If you're white, you're an oppressor. If you're black, you're oppressed, and all of this race stuff that I didn't even grow up with. And so now it's like, instead of seeing people the further along we go, the more progress that we make, the more we talk about race. It's ridiculous. And the people who think that they're helping and the people who are claiming we have to shed a light on this stuff, you're not helping. You are not helping. The lady that was standing up there with the dreads and the camouflage pants, she's one of those people. She's always constantly trying to say that there is a huge problem with race and racism and white supremacy and all this stuff. She is a state legislator. Her name is Angie Nixon. And she's a progressive. She's a staunch progressive who is constantly pitting people against each other because of their race. That's what she does. And it's people like her and the beliefs that they hold that keep this stuff going. And so it is time for it to stop. Enough. All right? Enough. Kids, young people, they don't need this stuff in their classrooms. We don't need this stuff all over in universities. We don't need this stuff constantly all over the news and trying to force people to pay attention to what somebody looks like, trying to force people to pay attention and judge people because of their skin color. That is stupid. No, someone's skin color, seeing that, assessing that, tells you nothing about that person. Nothing. And you have these progressives who are constantly trying to make that a thing. Focus on the race. Focus on the race. What do they look like? It doesn't tell you anything about me. It tells you nothing about me. I am really happy that Governor DeSantis has started to get rid of these things out of schools and university. There is no more getting the DEI out, getting the critical race theory out, the gender ideology, all of these things. Like these are things that shape society. These are things that shape culture. And so when you remove those things and let people get to know each other based on interest, based on who they are, whether, not race, stop. It tells you nothing about one another. You were literally passing on these bad ideas to a whole nother generation, and you're getting worse. It's terrible. It needs to stop. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think that it is good for these DEI and critical race theory and this focus on race to be out of classrooms and out of universities? I know we can say that here in Florida, but everybody can't say that across the country. And so let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.